lot of people don't really hear as much about the women on death row, but there are dozens of women on death row across this country. Many times the women on death row are there around family or domestic issues, either accused of killing their children or accused of killing their husbands, oftentimes abusive husbands. And the issues for women on death row might be a little different sometimes than the issues for men, but we feel that we need to do a lot more to recognize their struggle. And we are so honored and excited today to have Darlie Routier's family here with us. Routier, sorry, I'm always doing that one wrong. So Darlie Routier is on Texas death row. She's been there for many years, and her mother-in-law, Seralda, is going to talk a little bit about Darlie's case.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a little girl, I used to have a reoccurring nightmare. And that nightmare was that I was accused of something at school that I did not do.
Wow.
How many of y'all have had that feeling? Come on.
Yeah.
You've never felt like you was going to be accused?
Hey.
But I woke up from that nightmare. Darlie Routier has not wakened from her nightmare.
Come on.
June the 6th, 96, somebody came into my precious children's home and demolished our lives. At 3:30 in the morning, she called me and she said, Seralda, Devin and Damon are dead.
Oh.
Can you imagine that?
No.
They're not sick.
No.
They're not on their way to the hospital.
No.
They're dead.
Wow.
Somebody broke into Darren and Darlie's house, and Darlie's on the way to the hospital, and I know you are a praying woman. You have, God listens to your prayers. Get on your knees, Seralda, and pray for Darlie, because I don't know if she'll make it to the hospital. She made it. She was in intensive care. She had round-the-clock care.
She was not in intensive care.
It took hours to even get in there to visit her. And when I got in there, finally, the nurse asked me to leave. I told her, hell no, I just got in here.
Yeah.
She said, well, that's all right. I just want to look at her wounds and make sure that's not bleeding through.
Oh.
Darlie had a wound in this arm. Her throat was cut,
Oh.
and she had a neck brace on. And she raised her gown, and she was black and blue all over.
Oh. Oh.
All the way up to her. And she raised her gown, and she was black and blue
Oh.
all the way up to her, all over.
Oh. Oh.
All the way up to her. And she raised her gown, and she was black and blue
Oh.
all the way up to her, all over.
Oh.
And she raised her gown, and she was black and blue all over.
Oh.
She did not raise her.
Her nipple. And she raised her gown, and she was black and blue
Oh.
all the way up to her, all over.
Oh.
And she raised her gown, and she was black and blue all over.
Oh.
All the way up to her.
Oh.
And she raised her gown, and she was black and blue all over.
Oh.
And she raised her gown, and she was black and blue all over. I'm saying that not to shock you, but to make you believe what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Darlie fought that man off, whoever he was.
You're saying that to shock people because she was not bruised on her side. She was not bruised up to her nipple at all. Rest in peace, Seralda, but damn.
She had defensive wounds all over her. At the trial, they spent 2 days proving, and I guess they did.
They sure did prove it. They sure did.
That Darlie did not have those bruises on her in the hospital.
Oh.
She didn't. The doctors testify that she didn't have those bruises. The only ones that say she has those bruises are the family. And now, I didn't never catch this before, but she said she lifted up her shirt and she was bruised all up her side to her nipple. This was done in 2012. That's not true. She never had any wounds to her side, even 4 days later. That's not true.
I'm telling you, this could happen to you. If your children, anybody dies in your home, your grandkids die in your home, do not for a minute think they're not going to accuse you.
Because it's usually someone that knows the children. Usually.
You are number one suspect. It doesn't matter that you didn't do it.
Wow.
Greg Davis knows. Greg Davis, we call you out. You know Darlie didn't do this.
Come on.
When you go and you have to canvass to get somebody to say that Darlie was not a good mother, and it's 3 blocks.
They didn't have to canvass. They had several different people that testified that Darlie did strange things.
Around and over to a hook. You know what you did to get that, don't you? Texas knows Darlie Routier is innocent. They know it. They're scared. Because when Darlie gets out here and she starts marching, let me tell you, Darlie Routier is somebody to be reckoned with. She speaks beautifully. She sings beautifully. She is beautiful. And there will be a day you'll get to see her. Thank you, Jesus. Please help free not just these men and not just these women, everybody. We do not have justice in Texas. We've got to figure that out. It's sad. I was born here. I love Texas. But it's a cowboy and Indian whole society, and we're still there. We need to fight that. Are we going to just lay down and let it be cowboy and Indians?
Hell no!
Do the cowboys just keep on winning? No.
Hell no!
No. Thank you very much.
If anybody wants to talk to these guys a little more, you can see they all have these beautiful t-shirts about their loved one. Definitely find out more about that case.